MP for Ascent South, Reverend Ntim Fordjour, adan our look alike, will baby and answer day. Because and some of the two any of you suni statement I was signed the album much more highway no so. Ama fu chirema he yana nanum ni miyan sampa because omo ka say techrema we empro na kogu KSM na headquarters was send a message to Reverend Ntim Fordjour part to part saso na NPP umunya mescall masrawa so we share video we na oba chirwa dwen ama your comment section ho one subscribe ya masrawa so oba subscribe to Trends GH on YouTube, Facebook and TikTok bibia Trends GH. Ebano Ablekumanov parliamentary rerun chaos ekos so hona e was obakaya minority in parliament time of finance minister honorable Dr. KSM Angríly okopimo parliament or the mid-year budget review essential so hono aya minority in parliament omo boycott ye anu de omo kopie mu e wo Jubilee House ade omo petition His Excellency John Dramani Mahama ebano Ablekuma chaos ekos so hona onye hu bibi na no na ye MP for Ascent South okopimo parliament was or your ranking member on defense committee, Reverend Ntim Fordjour. Or the comment be too about Akwatia by-election.
It's sent a strong signal that if the president wants to continue his inaction in bringing the perpetrators to book, arresting them, prosecuting them, there's going to be bloodshed in Akwatia in future elections. We don't want bloodshed in future elections. Democracy cannot be traded for violence. We don't want a time where you go and put ballot box at a polling station and nobody will come out to vote. No one wants to come out and get killed by some political vigilantes. And that is what NDC is doing. It's a dangerous trend. It's a national security threat. It must be rooted out, and the president must show commitment. But so far, too, he has demonstrated he doesn't care. So people who care in this country will rise up. And that is why this signal is very important.
Honorable Reverend Ntim Fordjour, and somewhere no the two sir, the sitting president, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, Ablekumanov parliamentary chaos course for honor. Onye hu bibi, anya sa, there will be bloodshed in Akwatia by election. Any future elections are ebe koso ewo Ghana. And somewhere no the two no, gumbe ni supermenta waji o monchimonka highway no so say so pa no kase say, hey, where the other braka? Nano na ebusuan ensama akoso monchimonka highway no so no Reverend Ntim Fordjour or the statement about wanting o kire mu say enya no kra da so no Reverend Ntim Fordjour we gina baby akase there will be bloodshed in Akwatia by election and am say hey ebusuan wo dem am kind the statement no so letter heading na biam so no letter way is dated July 29, 2025 also for immediate release. Some malicious publication in circulation on social media have come to my attention, purportedly attributing to me threat of bloodshed in the upcoming Akwatia by-election. I wish to state unequivocally that such headlines, captions, and statements are false and are only intended to create public disaffection for me. I have not under any circumstance threatened bloodshed or violence in any election in this country. I wish to deny the said publication as same is false. Ni signature na dia na sha sia ohono. Ayo busa ma kire video no. Reverend Ntim Fordjour a oya sofo o chemu a ongina baby anka asam no. Na ensem we na ekodru KSM na headquarters onu de o chemu se. Reverend Ntim Fordjour MP for Ascent South. Baby o bia no wonya mescall. Na KSM mu kire mu a Reverend Ntim Fordjour ebusa na dwen no ensisi so. Tete no.
Ultimate charlatan. Do you know what a charlatan is? Wait a minute, check your dictionaries and find out what a charlatan is. I want to start with the ultimate charlatan. I think his name is Reverend Fordjour. Reverend Fordjour, shame on you. Reverend Fordjour, I'm looking at you eyeball to eyeball, and let me say, you don't deserve the title Reverend. Shame on you. Reverend. Patrimi Ketri Kakra, said there will be bloodshed in Akwatia. Oh, I'm sure you'll be at Akwatia with your wife and your children. I'm sure you have a wife, and I'm sure you have children. You're going to rally all of them and take them to Akwatia and let them join whatever gangs that you plan to send to Akwatia and tell your wife and children essentially, we are going to have bloodshed today. A reverend opens his damn mouth and talks about we are going to have bloodshed in Akwatia. If the president doesn't do something that you are authorizing, there will be bloodshed in Akwatia. Reverend, what is Ntim Fordjour? We are serious. Are you serious? No. If you're serious, then I want you to have a press conference and renounce that reverend title you have on you. Renounce it. Throw it away. All you pastors out there who are calling yourselves reverends and whatever titles you are giving yourself and standing in the forefront of Ghanaians telling us nonsense, trust me, I'll come after you. Not with bloodshed, with Nyansa. With Nyansa, I'll come after you to prove to you that you are worthless people. You're calling for bloodshed? And then Sunday you go and stand on the pulpit and say what? Our Father who art in heaven, let us, and you actually give the grace, may the grace of the Lord be with us, and things like that. One of the issues that the whole nation we should start paying attention to is our mental health. Because honestly, Reverend Fordjour, what mental problem? You are making the NPP become a party of rascals. Reverend Fordjour, you are disgracing your party.
After this, and a KSM watching say, Ebiana NPP, Omuye free, Babyana Omu free ba, and it's no KSM, or Bakai NPP, any of you know, or the JJ Rollins, any Professor John Evans Fifi Atamos, these two former presidents, Abba, this conversation, mu, IGP, Christian Tete Yohuno, Onuso Yameskol. Charlie,
NPP, why? You are disgracing your party. Look, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, and I said, growing up, NPP was such an attractive party. Okay, so yeah, NPP, it was such an attractive thing. Everybody wanted to be NPP because from the days of independence, the NPP had packaged itself as the party of the intelligentsia. We are the wise ones. We know great things. So there was a time in the history of Ghana that the NPP was a very attractive party. But gradually, those of you who are older and in the NPP who are in positions of thinking and leadership, you will know that there's been a shift from the NPP being the party of intelligentsia, the party of gentlemen, the party of lawyers, to the NPP being a party of rascals. I'm sorry. A party of people who are emotional. They just, somebody can stand up and say, if you go see somebody fighting, say, oh, yeah, MPP ni mapa. If you're a proper MPP and you go and see somebody fighting and you see that it's a fight between NDC and MPP, no, I'll put NDC in.
So we are MPP ni mapa. Now we got to say MPP for, and now say MPP ni any NDC ni ekwa. We are MPP ni no na yambu NDC ni.
These are the statements that have turned your party into trash. I'm serious. The MPP was a very attractive party. I remember back in the day, you put in a boy, hey, unim Darocha, near Bonim Victor Wusu, near Boti Windim Huawai Anto. Names, respected names. And that is what MP was priding itself in. But slowly, as I was growing, I am witnessing that slowly the NDC is becoming more and more attractive. Meanwhile, at the time that the NPP was attractive, the NDC had no standing. Let me tell you why. And let me catch the character more. Look, the NDC came out of the roots of a revolution. J.J. Rollins started this revolution in 1979, and it was what it was called the African Armed Forces Revolutionary Council. So they came in as revolutionary, It was during that time that there was something in Ghana. For those of you who are in Kolade, you don't know, but those of us in my age and slightly young, no. There was a period in Ghana called Let the Blood Flow. Let the blood flow. That was a period in Ghana that 3 former heads of states were executed at the firing range. Tishi firing range. They were tied to stakes. They were tied to stakes in Ghana here, and they were saying, fire! Shot. They killed 3 former heads of states in Ghana because we are in the revolution. let the blood flow. If when we kill people, we're going to stamp out corruption. When we kill, so that was an era. Very, very, very hard era that we went through because of circumstances. I don't want to talk about that now. But I'm just saying that was the roots of the NDC. Because the man who led the Armed Forces Revolutionary Council, Flight Lam J.J. Rawlings, he was the one that eventually came back into power after handing over, and then he started with the PNDC, the Provisional National Defense Council. Also, Soja Assembly, Manema. Now, listen to this, folks. The PNDC, with this revolutionary giddy line, gradually transformed into what is now called the NDC. People were alive, so they just dropped the P. There was a PNDC, and you drop a P, and the NDC. So, folks, the NDC had its roots in the resurrection of Jerry Rawlings. Then Jerry Rawlings handed over, came back again with the PNDC, and then the PNDC was transformed to the NDC. Provisional National Defense Council became the National Democratic Congress. So people still at that point remembered, say, NDC crime roots here, violent roots. And that is why the NDC was so unattractive. Then, even people who were NDC fellows who will go and vote for NDC crime, in public they don't say that. And I mean, I'm NDC. After voting for NDC, that is how unattractive the NDC was at some point in the history of Ghana. Those who know. You can talk to those who know that the NDC at some point was the most unattractive party in Ghana because they were known as hooligans. Or NDC for the hooligans. I remember there was one time, was it the youth wing of the NDC or some part of the NDC near from Veranda Boys? Nkrumah started with Veranda Boys back in the day, and these were like they were not the like the educated people. I think you can call them foot soldiers then, So I think there was a whole period of time when the youth and the NDC and the foot soldiers, they formed themselves into a group called the Veranda Boys. Follow me. I'm just telling you why the NDC was such an unattractive party. So many violent, Veranda Boys, and all of these things. And it dawned on the NDC, Charlie, if we don't change our image, it's likely that we will be missing out because we are not attracting the intelligent people. We are not attracting the lawyers. We are not attracting the professionals. We are not attracting the doctors. We are attracting the riffraff. Yeah. And so it was part of the reason why the leadership of the NDC invited Professor Atta Mills to become a vice president for J.J. Rawlings, just to calm the radical element. Yes, let's bring this professor. Nobody knew him. It wasn't like he was active in politics, and it wasn't like he was a visible person. It wasn't like anybody knew Atta Mills. So all of a sudden, NDC said, we have a new vice president for J.J. Rawlings. He's a professor. He was an income tax man. And then they brought this gentleman, Professor Atta Mills, on. And that started changing the face of the giddy. It was like, it was calming that whole face down. And it took a while. Eventually, Atta Mills came into power, and what did we know him for? Asumdwehene. Imagine, coming from the same tradition that had killed heads of states, the same tradition that had mounted stakes, firing squad. He came and said, I want you to follow me and understand that the history is very, very interesting. So the once party that was known to be violent and giddy, now had a leader who says, I am the father of all. Can you imagine? I am the father of all. And even people who are radical, even still criticize and say, Uba, also your father of all. Let me tell you one thing that people probably don't know. Eventually, when Atta Mills became the president of Ghana, one of the things that Jerry Rawlings did enjoy too much about Atamils. We say, Atamils is not persecuting or prosecuting MPP officials or my bonnet. So for that reason, Krana, if anything, Rollins wasn't too much fond of him. Yankas SMEP, but he just thought he was just too much of a cool dude. So follow me on. So, but believe it or not, that was the time that NDC also started getting attractive to others. Because the image was not an image of a violent person and a leader, was a professor or income tax person. Cool. And then guess what? Atamils also found him a vice president who is now the president, John Dramani Mahama. Also another cool dude then. So believe it or not, this was the time that changes started happening in the structure of politics. You know, that now the NDC is competing with the MPP in terms of calm people who are in the leadership and things like that. And eventually it started going on between the NDC and the MPP. But gradually the shifts were getting so amazing that the NDC somehow, apart from maybe the radical extremist full soldiers, you know, the top leadership, they were more adapting a more calm demeanor. And at the same time, the MPP was also switching to adopt a more rugged demeanor. When I'm switching by, you know, I'm not giving you the specific year and time, I'm just giving you the narration of what has happened up to today. The NDC has become such an attractive party, and you can tell from the results of the last election. They have taken over that cool demeanor, no? The leadership, the front line from the MPP. And as I was saying, I was hoping that when the delegates conference was coming, we're going to see an amazing shift for the MPP to also to go back to where they started from as the calm party and everything. But no, after such a massive, humiliating loss, they are even riding higher. We are the we. We won't tolerate nonsense. We are the we. We are the mighty. And folks, that is why I'm telling you, MPP, that is why you're losing ground. Because the nature of the Ghanaian is not any longer vested in this kind of radical giddy. People are like, now, even monies you have stolen from this country, let's retrieve the money. All that means is that some resetting, whether you like it or not, is taking place. And if I were you, I will support the resetting and help in the resetting. Because like I've said and I'll keep saying, any party now who does not adhere to resetting this nation cannot find anywhere to put their feet in this nation, because times have changed though. Things have changed, sides have changed. Can you imagine, just for 1 second though, can you imagine that under His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo, the MPP had 2/3 majority? Even being the minority ponyo, can you imagine the MPP had 2/3 majority? What would have happened? I leave that to your imagination. Now, I want you to follow me with something. Remember what happened at Ayawaso, the election, when thugs came in under the guise of your national security and were messing about, destroying things, slapping MPs and doing everything in Ayawaso. Do you remember? Do you remember? And then we found out that these were MPP thugs. You want to say Rose and I reverse it? Before, they would have said NDC for Nesa. And it was true that the radical ones and the violent ones were those who were coming from the JJ heritage. But look at how that switched. Look at what happened at Techiman South. 8 people killed. And this is all under the watch of those who before were attractive as the learned, gentle people who knew and understood the law. But this is what happened. And here's the funny thing. When Ayawaso happened, did you see then the NDC in minority in parliament boycotting it? Say, I'm sorry, because Ayawaso happened. Did you see that? When Techiman happened, did you see the NDC getting up and say, we are boycotting it? I want you to follow me to understand that the roles were switching. The roles were switching. All of a sudden, the one that was calm, and we had the men, and that were the gentlemen of the day, were becoming the radicals and the veranda boys. And those who have the personality, those who had the tag of being veranda boys, were coming across as more gentle and more quiet. So I also happened, not a whimper from the NDC. 8 people were shot in Techiman, not a whimper. Reverse that to what has happened at the Blekuma and see, has MPP said, oh, it was just an election thing and be quiet? No, they haven't. They are up in arms. They got out from parliament and left parliament because they are not going to be a part of that quote-unquote silly media review. We have more important things to do. And what did they do? They marched to Jubilee House to present a petition. Surprisingly, I think the petition was received by Julius Debra and Standobe. They gave the MPP the respect and the courtesy to at least meet them. Let us reverse that and see when, at one point, when NDC, when they were in a minority, and said they were going to the Electoral Commission to present a petition. That petition didn't even go anywhere. MPP wouldn't allow it. They were stopped. And that was not even going to the president too. They were just going to the Electoral Commission. Even there, they were stopped. Do you see how the roles have reversed? Before you would have thought that it is under an NDC quote-unquote hooliganism that these things will be stopped. But no, it has reversed. So the NDC was stopped. Even the Electoral Commission, on your president, but they wouldn't even allow them to go through. So folks, this is my point here. And I'm doing this show to tell Ghanaians, because me a national person, that we should all start thinking of what we need as a nation, not as a party. As a nation, we need peace. We need justice. And whatever we need to do to get there, we have to, intelligently. But when you apply all kinds of brute force and emotional things, it does not work. It's the mechanism, actually. Let us start rethinking towards building this nation. Akwatia, not just the ridiculous reverend who's talking about bloodshed. This is where I want to see the IGP having a press conference backed by whatever force that he has, that we want peace in Ghana. We are going to make sure that we are the peace officers. We will make sure that there is peace in Ghana. And if you try, you will see. And let the law deal with hooligans. IGP, I'm giving you a missed call to say something say something. Don't sit down and watch till the time we get to Akwatia, and then whoever ridiculous people from whichever party can come and create a scenario for violence and bloodshed. You should right now be giving press conference, say, we'll make sure that never happens in Ghana. And even if it's the army that will come and assist the police, to make sure that never happens in Ghana. And anyone who tries that should be dealt with by the law severely, so that foolish people can stop using their platforms to call for bloodshed, whether you're a reverend or whether you're a sycophantic jandam journalist. Tell me, microphone here, I'm going to call for violence. Who born dog? Who the hell do you guys think you are?
But Rev Ntim Fordjour, I don't know one can sense my way out to Gaffy that was a one gene baby and Kaye. It was not sure what your mammy or comment section or next video way. Mafo Frost and say, Kebby, me did the Kojo Black. Macro.